Week 8 of Aon's Public Affairs podcast was recorded May 27th, 2020.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Week 8 Public Affairs podcast. Daniel Sirota from the Public Affairs office in Chicago. I am excited to be joined by one of my frequent flyer clients, one of my good friends, Rick Jones from the retirement practice. Rick, welcome to the podcast.
Great. Thanks, Daniel. So glad to join you today.
So, Rick, let's dig in a little bit. We had a busy 2019 quarter four. You and I were in Washington a good amount of times talking and promoting what was known as the Secure Act, a legislative bill really focused on a provision that you have been preaching for a long time with me in DC. And, you know, it passed. 2019 budget went through the budget cycle. The president signed it December 20 through his budget bill, passed the House, passed the Senate. This is something that, you know, we've been on the Hill advocating for a good amount of time. What has Aon done since the passage of Secure? And can you dig a little bit more detail on the folks of what this means?
Sure, absolutely. Well, two things mainly. I mean, Secure passed as part of the broader appropriations bill, which included a number of things related to retirement plans and their design and operation. So certainly we've been consulting with clients on those issues, whether it's required minimum distributions or in-service pension distributions or safe harbor changes, and even something is kind of in the weeds as non-discrimination testing. But I think the game changer that really came out of the Secure legislation was these pooled employer plans, or PEPs as we call them, which we believe will be transformational in the retirement plan market in the years to come. And to answer your specific question, Daniel, what have we been doing around PEPs? We've basically been mobilizing to get an Aon PEP market ready and available for our clients on January 1st, 2021, which is the first date that they're able to be offered under the terms of the legislation. So it's been a very busy time since December 20th, and the team and I have really dove in to determine what the Aon PEP should be, what our partners should be in delivering that to our clients, and making sure that we've got a pipeline of organizations that we're talking to about adopting it. We think it'll add a lot of value.
And Rick, can you dig a little bit more on what PEP means for the folks on the podcast? I think it's very important for, you know, the audience that, you know, we try to talk to during this podcast, clients from all ranges of small, mid to big, and how can it be valuable for them?
Sure, great question. So let me just acknowledge that there's a predecessor option available under the legislation, which is MEP, or multiple employer plan. So basically MEPs are being transitioned into PEPs, pooled employer plans. I will say that these multiple employer plans should not be confused with multi-employer plans. And this is a little bit of retirement plan terminology lesson here. Multi-employer defined benefit plans tend to be those that are sponsored by organizations like the Central States Teamsters and the other national union organizations. And many of them are in trouble, frankly, in terms of funding status. And you've probably heard about some of those challenges. So these plans that we're talking about today, PEPs, are defined contribution in nature. By definition, they can't become underfunded. But with that as background, they are basically vehicles where organizations can come together to collectively and jointly offer a 401k plan or other type of savings plan to its employees. So historically, where each employer might need to offer its own plan and to incur all the administrative costs and fiduciary risk and all the issues associated with that, now they can come together without any other common ties and jointly offer a retirement plan under a common umbrella. And again, as I mentioned a couple minutes ago, we're working hard at Aon to offer a great solution to our clients and other organizations that would be interested in joining us. So the key advantages to these pooled employer plans, or PEPs, is really the chance to rely on experts that are involved in retirement plan design and management day to day. Organizations like Aon, I sit in the retirement practice, and I've spent my career helping our clients manage and operate their retirement plans. So you can rely on experts. And then through the pooling, you can also benefit from scale. So larger assets, larger participant counts drive economy of scale. They'll drive innovation. They'll lead to less fiduciary risk as organizations like us take fiduciary risk and become experts in plan management. And all of this will allow employers to better focus on their core business and not spend as much time actually operating a retirement plan.
So, Rick, elephant in the room. We're dealing with a pandemic right now, is coronavirus. We're all at our homes. Why is PEPS something that people should be looking at now? You talked about launch date 1/1/21. Why is this an important topic for folks to start thinking about during this time?
Yeah, it's a great question. And we've had lots of very insightful and engaging conversations with clients and prospects in the last few weeks. And I would say that this concept is really starting to resonate with those organizations for a number of reasons. The first of which is just market volatility. Do management teams really want to be looking after retirement plans and their related investment funds and operations during a period of such significant volatility? The CARES Act also introduced retirement plan options and requirements, just more things that our clients need to be doing as they manage their own plans in this period of unprecedented change and their desire to focus on their core business and truly essential activities. The other part that we haven't really touched on yet, but the Secure Act included some further provisions around lifetime income, the notion of how can we help individuals, retirees, and their surviving spouses and otherwise have a more secure form of lifetime income rather than putting a pool of 401k assets in their lap when they retire and wishing them good luck as they walk out the door, so to speak. So how do we further lifetime income? And our clients are very interested in doing that and having us manage that process with and for them. And as I mentioned earlier, it's just all about essential activities in this environment. What activities are truly essential and can lead to more value for the organization, and what activities can be better managed by others. So it's that type of conversation that we're having. So it's very encouraging that clients are, again, finding value in this day and age of the coronavirus.
And Rick, where do we go from here, right? So 1/1/21, 6 months away. What is the operations side really looking for you for open MEPS?
Yeah, so a number of things. First of all, the law changed on December 20th when the president signed it into law, as you noted, Daniel. Since then, we've been in contact with the regulatory agencies, the Department of Labor, the Treasury, and IRS to get their input, and we've had some dialogue with them, but more input is needed, and we are actively working that process. The other thing that we're doing is making sure that our platform is ready to be efficient and effective January 1st, 2021, including a great record-keeping platform, a great investment lineup and choices there, trustee relationships, and otherwise. So we're spending a lot of time making sure that the Aon PEP platform is ready to really deliver great value in all the ways that I've mentioned in the last few minutes. The other thing that we're doing right now is having active conversations with clients and prospects in terms of the business case. How can Aon PEP save them money, save their participants money, save them management time, and helping them to define if this is a good model for them. And over time, we believe that many more organizations will be interested, whether it's 403B plans in the not-for-profit sector and even governmental plans, to the extent that Congress allows them to be adopted in those spaces. But again, cost savings will be key in this environment or any environment, and that'll be an important part of the conversations that we're having.
Well, Rick, I want to, thanks for giving that great overview. And I want to switch gears to something that we're going to do a little bit more digging on next week's podcast. But from your perspective, as you're having conversations with the different employers, how has your group been engaged into the return to work aspect when employers start getting business as usual and operations up and running?
Sure. So there's been a number of things that we've been doing to help our clients. As you may know, there are some corona-related distribution provisions available in the CARES Act, and we've been working with them to make sure that we can handle that. Speaking more specifically to return to work, a number of organizations have suspended their 401k matches in the recent months. We're working with them to redefine what their competitive position is and may need to be in the return to work environment, and what the right retirement benefit equation is for them going forward. We saw a fairly significant number of organizations announce suspensions or reductions in their 401k matches and other retirement plan contributions, and we've been in active conversations with them to bring those back, or again, kind of redefine what competitive is in their environment. Many industries are changing dramatically, as you know, whether it's retail or hospitality or travel. And again, those conversations are happening. The other thing I've mention is that we're having a number of conversations with clients just about bringing back their workforce and what the nature of that workforce looks like and what retirement benefit equation is right for them going forward. So the kind of the strategy of right sizing their approach given the workforce of the future. So those are some of the highlights of what we've been doing in a return to work scenario.
And Rick, where can people find out, all this stuff around open MEPs, around this topic? How can they find out more additional information from you?
I think the easiest is just to reach out to me, rick.jones@aon.com, or feel free to look me up on LinkedIn and I can certainly respond there. But I would encourage you to do that.
Well, Rick, look, thank you for taking the time today to coming onto the podcast. Very much appreciated. I hope you're staying safe, your family's well, and, look forward to continuing to work with you during the times and getting ready for 1/1/21.
Great. Thanks for having me, Daniel, and good luck to you and family as well.
And next week, we will be joined by Dave Gomet, CEO of our Health Solutions business, digging a little bit further into the return to work conversation that Rick brought up today. Thank you all for joining the podcast and look forward to seeing you next week.
This information is a resource for Aon clients and business partners. It is intended to provide general guidance on potential exposures, and it is not intended to provide medical advice or address medical concerns or specific circumstances. Due to the dynamic nature of infectious diseases, Aon cannot be held liable for the guidance provided. We encourage visitors to seek additional safety and medical information from credible sources. Thank you.